Hello everyone, this is Hemin and welcome to a new video. Today it is on Friday 28th of March. When I realized another month of the year is about to end, I felt really exhausted. And lately, I'm actually feel a little bit of a burnt out, and I feel like I always am stuck in my room, and I can't stop thinking about querying. I want to try to live in this different life routine. I should go outside more often. I'm gonna try to get inspired from the outside, and I'm gonna try to find the spot to work. I'm gonna try to do it at least once or twice a week. Actually, I already have made a plan to do something exciting thing in the city earlier this week. So let's get ready to go outside. It's been a while since I went outside and spent a couple of hours alone last time. I used to think of walking outside alone made me feel lonely, especially when I was between groups of people, and I used to be very conscious of what people would think of me as a foreigner wandering around the city. But after several years of living abroad, I realized that it was just me and no one thinks that way, and Australia is also very multicultural. Today I went to an art gallery of South Australia for a short visit. I really appreciate Australia has a lot of free entry, museums. I think it is the biggest benefit of living in Australia. And I wanted to see only the materials that I was looking for on the day. I went straight to my favorite rooms to get inspiration and references. I especially wanted to check the frames and furniture pieces and the pillars around the rooms. When I was working on a black and white illustration to update my portfolio, I honestly had a lot of fun capturing the details of one of the historical places in South Korea. Because of the fun experimental experience, I kind of wanted to get this sort of inspiration, but in the Western culture this time. The illustration that I've created until 2024 are mostly inspired by my experience growing up in South Korea and traveling experience in Japan. Now, I want to expand my inspiration. I want this to be more multicultural and I want it to have diversity. Hopefully, I want to reach out to new target audience. I'm ready to go outside of my comfort zone since the inspiration that I look for is now wider than it used to be, and what I want to illustrate has changed a lot over the past months. I found myself looking at things around the Adelaide city in a different perspective, and I realized the art gallery of South Australia is full of interesting stores that I can get inspired for an illustration project, although I went to the place a lot of times. I picked up a copy of Howl Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I grew up with Ghibli movies and I have seen Howl Moving Castle so many times since I was little. But I actually have not read the book, although it's been on my list for a number of years. Another reason why I picked up this book today is because I want to film a fun, challenging video that I've never tried before, but I have thought about attempting to do it for a while. The color palette in this illustration looks so dreamy. Tuesday everyone, I'm working on a few art pieces specifically for launching new printing merch. Currently, I'm recreating a famous classic painting. This time, I'm not gonna launch a physical product on my website. I'm selling only digital product on my website. And every physical product that I had launched is shut down. When I used to handle mails and packages to send the world outside of Australia, I found it really stressful. Although I had sent the mails and packages in the same way, the delivery time was unpredictable and sometimes I had to send the mails again when it was missing. The only change was the price of the stamps. Buying a new stamp was another reason why I wanted to shut down the physical product. So I'm actually going to reopen my imprint. This is the only alternative way that I can think of. I'm not sure if it is the right way to pronounce the name of the distributor or if I have to say in PRNT. I haven't touched the website until early 2022, I believe. Just before I only did 3 illustrations. They are the newest artworks. And the rest of them are currently invisible because I'm not drawing this style anymore. I'm really proud of this illustration that I finished earlier this morning. I really like the composition and the colors and the texture on it. Lately, I'm also trying to be more creative about the style of the text. And do you remember in the last vlog I said when I was on the process of making this illustration, I also was pretending like designing a book cover, and this is exactly what I'm thinking as a cover if it was a book. Happy Friday! Today I'm going out to have a lunch with my partner's brother's partner. We are gonna walk through North Adelaide and go to a cafe called You Are or Our Cafe. After that, I'm gonna try to find a spot to sit and work for a couple of hours. Probably I'll go to the library. When I spend time sitting on the public transport for 2 hours during the middle of the day, I feel like that is really wasting.
We'll go to the park, laugh away the blues. People will stare, asking have they lost their minds. And when it gets dark, we'll play our favorite tune, heart and soul. Dance under the moon. When my dreams get so hazy and skies become gray, you'll be the one to guide me home. For miles and miles, been sailing through the sea to find you here, standing next to me. So, my love, be my everything, heart of gold. Stay here for a while. When your life gets so crazy, you lose your way. I'll be the one to guide you home.
Happy Monday everyone, it is on the 7th of April. Today I'm gonna try to finish the artwork that I'm currently drawing for April's tutorial. In the video it is shown my creative drawing process of vintage decorative illustrations. Earlier this morning I was making a plan of the detail of the layout and I drew the final sketch digitally. Now I need to decide the main colors that I'm going to use for this illustration. I'm very excited to show you guys my whole creative process and the final result. If anyone is interested in tutorials or other creative work in detail step by step, please feel free to check out my Patreon page. At this point, I'm updating my portfolio much slower than the previous months because I haven't got to hear anything from the agencies that I restarted couriering on last March. Also, I found out that there's a very limited number of literary agents who represent only illustrators, so I decided to couriering to illustration agencies as well instead of just focusing on the literary agents in the book industry. Also from this year, I want to be a bit more realistic, so since a few weeks ago, I actually started looking for a job to support my creative dream. I'm actively clicking on Indeed, Seek. I applied to some jobs for 2D artist in the game industry, pattern designer from baby clothing brands, marketing assistant. And last night, I applied for the position of digital marketing coordinator. If you ever have a chance to come to Adelaide with working holiday visa, it is really hard to find a job in the creative areas, even for Australian. That was one of the reasons why I started an art brand in Adelaide. Also, I didn't have any other skills at the time except for art. Now, I feel more confident to do something that is not art compared to the time when I was doing working holiday 7 years ago. Although this is not my ideal job to do for the rest of my life, but I really need something that can be stable and that can support my art dream. I'm super aware that it's very tough to find a job in any industry for even people who grew up in Adelaide. But at this point, I'm not sure when I'll be able to reach out to the agent and get response and get the first commission from the agent. So that's why I decided to try to find a job in Adelaide, and I still have to wait for response from anyone anyway and wait for being lucky. I got this idea when I was working my project in the library in the city very recently. I felt very refreshed being away from my home and my desk all the time, and then at the time I wished that the time when I was outside was making another income, as well as I wished I was surrounded by people more often. That's my little bit of my life update, and yeah, thank you so much for clicking on my channel and watching my video today. As always, thank you to my Patreon for supporting my art, and don't forget to check out my printy shop if you're interested. I really hope you guys have a wonderful lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!